Hello and welcome into Talk of the Town here on CW 57. My name is Rich Reynolds and we have a familiar face to kick off the show today as Steve is back from Business World. How you doing, Steve?
Great, good to be back.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in. It's the first time I get to talk to you, as everybody else seems to have already, but I haven't had a chance. So remind us then a little bit then, what is exactly, you're here from Business World, what is Business World?
Yeah, so Business World is a program for high school kids, and we offer our programs in two different ways. During the school year, this time of the year, we have programs called Mini Business World, and we take that program on the road all around Wisconsin, and it's a one-day version of our program. It's kind of like a business conference for the high school kids, and we hope that they like Mini Business World, and then they choose to sign up for our summer program, which we hold in June and July, and we got those coming up, and that's kind of what I'm here to talk about today.
Yeah, exactly. You know, summer is coming up. It seemed like it, over the weekend more than it does this week, but as far as summer programs, what do you offer for summer programs?
Sure, so we have a location session here in Madison, and we also have a session up in Green Bay. And we get the kids for about 4 days, and they stay with us overnight in the dorms. And part of the experience is that right there, is they learn a lot about business. It's Business World, right? You'd expect that. But it's also kind of like a beta test of going off to college. So these kids are going to get a roommate. They're going to be in the dorms. No mom and dad, no teachers. They're kind of on their own for 4 days, kind of getting a taste of the college life, learning about business and the workplace, and kind of getting ready for their future and whatever comes next.
I have a kid who's a sophomore in high school. It's kind of a scary thought, actually.
Yeah.
So, what makes Business World? I mean, there's some other programs that I think are kind of similar. What makes Business World so special?
Well, a couple things. I think one of the things that makes it really neat is the kids are learning about business. It's kind of like the Shark Tank TV show, but with high school kids. So they're thinking of ideas, they're getting excited about them, and that's a lot of fun. But what kind of makes it unique is that we bring in adult mentors to kind of be coaches and teachers to the kids and the students. So they develop a relationship with that mentor. What's also really neat is the kids are on a college campus, which is kind of unique. There aren't a whole lot of programs that put high school kids into those college classrooms to kind of get that experience. And I think the third thing that's really fun about it is they make friends from all around Wisconsin. We get kids from small towns and big cities, and they all get thrown in together. And on the first day, some of them act like they don't want to be there. Maybe mom and dad twisted their arm a little bit. You're going to this business camp. But on the last night and on that last day of camp, nobody wants to go home. Nobody wants to go home. So if there's anybody out there watching that has high school kids at home, you should really consider it. Check us out on social media, because it'd be a great week for those kids, definitely.
Very cool. I'm one of those parents that has a high school kid at home, so I'm starting to think about it then, right now. There's obviously, reasons if you're an adult, you're a parent, that you want to send the kid away to camp, but what are some other, I guess, reasons that if you're a parent that, hey, I want my kid to participate in Business World?
So I think for parents, a lot of the things that they see in their kids, they see a great kid that maybe doesn't really let all their talents shine like they should. Maybe they're a little shy, maybe they're a little withdrawn. Business World is awesome because we put them on the spot. We kind of put them into a hands-on situation where they need to put themselves out there. They need to meet people. They need to really show us what they can do. And it's a great experience. We see a lot of growth in the kids there. So for the parents, you kind of want to push them to kind of grow and expand their boundaries. For the kids, I would say, besides making new friends and kind of getting this great business experience, it's a chance to try out some of the different areas of business that you might want to study once you get to college. So if you think you want to go into accounting or you think you want to go into finance, there are ways you can learn about that stuff at Business World and maybe decide, yes, this is what I want to do, or maybe decide, you know what, this isn't for me, and I just saved myself a semester or two of taking classes and paying tuition, and you can learn about your strengths right at Business World.
Very nice. Yeah. Now, I know having a kid is expensive, and with the economy being what it is, what if a parent needs help with the registration fee?
So there is a fee, registration fee. Some parents have told us, man, that's way less than the sports camp that we just sent them to. But there's a lot of families that are in a tight spot right now, and we understand that. We have businesses that sponsor the program that make financial aid available to families. So for anybody out there, we don't want the fee to even be part of the decision process. Some families can say, yeah, we can afford that, great. But as soon as we hear we're going to have trouble with that, we can work with them, even if it's taking a full sponsorship, so that their kid can make it to camp. We don't want that fee to get in the way of a kid having a great experience.
That sounds great. Yeah. Quickly run down, how can parents and students find out more about it?
I would say just Google Wisconsin Business World. That'll pull up all of our social media. We got some awesome YouTube videos. You can see the kids in action having fun. We got a website, obviously, as well as some Facebook and Instagram platforms as well. So social media is probably the way to go.
Nice. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Steve from Business World. We got got more coming up next here on Talk of the Town on CW57. And welcome back to Talk of the Town, as there are now two Richards on the set, as Richard McDonald is joining me. He's the director of the Stoughton Public Library, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah, you know, one of the topics that we're talking about today is how the library can help job seekers, which could be me very soon if I do a bad job in this interview, so you never know. So let's talk about that a little bit. Say I'm looking for a job. How can the public library help me out?
Okay, well, you know, people of all ages find themselves searching for a job either by design or because something happens and they find themselves jobless. So whatever the reason, it's good to think that that's a full-time job. And coming to the library, even if you have internet access at home, is a really good thing to do, because librarians who are experts at searching out information can help you find websites that would have job openings in your field. Maybe these websites would be new to you, and also websites that would have job openings if there's a specific geographic location that you're interested in.
Okay.
So both those ways would help.
So let's say then I find the job that I think is going to be perfect for me. How can the library then help me going through the actual application process?
Okay, well, most people like to start by updating the resume, and not just updating the facts, but also updating maybe the look of it or the emphasis. For example, when I look at resumes, I always skip over those sections that say job goals. I'm not interested in goals, I'm interested in accomplishments. And so the internet has also loads of resume sites, and the resume books that we have in the library are among the more popular ones and more well used. So we can show you how to find those.
How about when it comes to doing something even more specific, like saying writing a letter of application?
Okay, that's usually called a cover letter. And there's many excellent books about those and how to write them. And if you come and visit us, we can show you how to find those. But in addition to that, we can also put you in touch with other community resources that can help you with the same thing, help you more with the hands-on. We don't give the actual instruction, but we can help you find places that might.
Now, sometimes it's hard just to get noticed, whether it's through the cover letter, through the resume. Say we get to that point where we actually get an interview, Richard, okay? The exciting time's coming up.
Okay.
Now what?
All right. Well, you've got the interview, and you really want to have a great interview, of course, and you want to thoroughly know your field. Let's say you do that, and you want to project confidence and enthusiasm. Now, one job that I was hired for, they told me later that the reason they hired me was because I was the most enthusiastic person.
Okay.
Okay.
I can see that about you.
Not necessarily the most experienced, but the most enthusiastic. And consider this teaser. This is a book called The Invisible Gorilla, and Other Ways Our Intuitions Deceive Us. It's by Christopher Chabaris and Daniel Simmons. It's the book that taught me the real value of projecting confidence. You can ask for it at your nearest public library. And this is an example of some things, unexpected but effective sources of information that librarians can lead you to.
Very nice. Now, being a gentleman, do I have to wear a necktie to the interview then?
Well, you know, this is March, and March is a seasonally challenged month, but dressing well is never out of season. And so I would recommend that you do. And here's 3 little necktie books that might help. This first one is called How to Tie, Learn to Tie a Tie in 6 Easy Steps by Robert Seifert. And this is a nice one that we just got. It's 14 ways to tie a necktie. It's from neckties.com, so that's right off from a website. And this is an old classic, 85 Ways to Tie a Tie by Thomas Fink and Yang Mao. This is one of my favorites. Believe it or not, I've tried all 85 of them.
Get out. I think I know one way. There's the half Windsor, and I do that one, and that's about it.
Right, right. Well, I can give you some practical advice right now if you'd like to.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
Okay.
I'm very excited for this because, like I said, I'm a one-way kind of tie kind of guy.
Okay, all right.
Does that make any sense, what I just said? Probably not.
Well, that makes sense to me. All right. Well, I'm going to show you how to tie a knot. This is called a boutonniere knot.
Okay.
And this is a knot that's tied with the narrow end. So we're going to start with the wide end and put it about the length that we want.
Okay.
Okay, some people like a little shorter, a little longer. Okay, so you take the narrow end, put it across like this, and then we start by putting it over, up through like this, and around the side it first started from. Okay, that's the hard part. The rest is easy. Under, around the back, and then over the top. This whole knot is kind of over the top.
Okay. I'm
an over-the-top kind of guy.
That's
So
agreeable.
Okay, so now you can see the knot taking shape.
Yeah.
Okay, so around the back and over the top, down and around the back, over the top, down and around the back.
If you tie this tie to an interview, you're going to get the job. That's almost guaranteed.
Yeah,
So
you bet.
we're going to finish up here on Richard tying this tie, and we thank him for joining us from the Stoughton Public Library and the South Central Library System. And we'll have more as we come back to a well-tied Richard here on Talk of the Town at CW57. And we're back on Talk of the Town. Welcome back on in. We are talking now about the medical career field and something that seems to be booming all over the place, and basically what a medical assistant is and what growth opportunities are there. I'm joined now by Deanna Rigo, who is here from Globe University. Welcome on in.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
Excellent, yeah. And you look all smiley, and you're probably all smiles because the medical assistant field seems to be growing. It's one of those areas, I think, in the economy that you could say, you know what's getting better? The medical field and jobs that are related to the medical field. Tell us a little bit first, before we get into all that good news, your background and what you do at Globe University.
Sure. Actually, I'm a Globe University alumni. I graduated from their medical assistant program. I'm a certified medical assistant. I worked in the field in the Madison area, and I had the opportunity to actually mentor Globe students when they were doing their externship for the program. And then I went back to Globe, became an instructor. I was their full-time instructor. And then this past fall, I took on the program chair position.
Wow, okay, so a lot of background there
circle.
with Globe. Excellent, okay. Tell us exactly, what is a medical assistant?
Well, the best way to picture what a medical assistant is I want you to think back the last time you were at the clinic. And the person who came out to the waiting room and said your name, took you back to the exam room. They went through all of the information on the computer. They got you ready for your exam. They collected everything. They may have given you your flu shot. They may have assisted the physician with the actual exam or a minor procedure. That's a medical assistant. They work in a clinic, medical office, or an outpatient facility.
Okay, and I talked a little bit about, early on about the high demand that there is for medical assistants. Why is there such a high demand right now?
The demand is huge, not only in the Madison area and Wisconsin, but throughout the nation. And the increased demand is due to a couple of things. First of all, there's more physicians all the time in order to meet the demand of technology and also the aging population, the baby boomers.
Absolutely, yeah. And as of course, people get older, they have more medical issues, and so they got to see the doctors more often, and all kind of works together. So what is the job outlook, if you will, years out for someone who wants to be a medical assistant?
The job demand continues to increase. We're looking at about a 30% increase by the year 2020.
Wow.
As according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So a huge demand is going to continue. We are not graduating a lot of students as medical assistants, so we're not even coming close to meeting that demand. The nice thing in the Madison area and surrounding areas, Dane County, is we have so many clinics. Just think about when you drove to work today, you probably passed how many clinics. So you can work in any size clinic. Some people choose a particular specialty that they would enjoy working in. Maybe they prefer working with a particular age group as far as the patient goes.
Okay, and what kind of training then do you need to become a medical assistant?
Well, Globe University offers a 2-year associate degree program. We are on a quarter system, so every quarter you are taking new classes. Part of that program is a 240-hour externship prior to graduation, which is really great. As the program chair, I place you in a clinic in the area, and you basically work for them for free for 240 hours. And the nice thing is all the skills you've developed at Globe, you're practicing those skills, you're perfecting those skills, and then you're really in a great position to land that job. And if you think about it, if you're working for free for 240 hours, and if you're rocking that externship, they more than likely want to hire you.
I know about working for free. I work in broadcasting, so it's basically for free. So it's nice to actually hear, though, about an industry that you can work for free for a little while and then start getting paid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that would be nice. If someone wants to go to Globe University, they're saying, hey, I want to get involved in this, become a medical assistant, where do they find more information?
What you can do is you can go to our website at globeuniversity.edu, and do a little searching, learn a little bit more about the field if you prefer, what programs we have to offer, and then there's actually some information you can fill out, and an admissions rep would contact you.
Tiana, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, we made it on through talking about Globe University and, of course, a lot that's going on as far as being a medical assistant. Check them on out, and it's nice to also hear good news that a field is actually growing and growing by that much. So very good indeed. We're going to be back. Talk of the Town. We got more. Stick around. Welcome back to Talk of the Town, and for someone who is an avid home brewer, this is maybe my favorite segment of all time that we're going into, and definitely my favorite topic. We're talking beer as we have Otto Dilba here from Ale Asylum. Welcome in, Otto.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, just give us, I guess, a brief history of Ale Asylum. How and when did it get started?
Well, we started in 2006. It was myself and the brewmaster, Dean Coffey, and a couple of other people, Chris Rippenberg, the head brewer, and an additional brewer, Brian Scope, who I believe you know.
I know Brian, yeah.
That we all started up in 2006 and did the build-out, the tear-down of the original location. And in 2012, we moved into our new location, which is located at 2002 Pancras Street, right by the airport. And from that point on, we began distributing across state lines. We're now available in Illinois and throughout the entire state of Wisconsin.
Oh, nice. I heard that the new building is the house that Hopalicious built.
That's a good way to put it.
Is that, yeah?
Yeah, Hopalicious is an American pale ale. It's our flagship, and it's about 60% of everything that we make.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that beer. I mean, for an
you.
IPA, yeah, I think it's well balanced. Nice floral character to it as well.
Yeah, I drink my body weight in that weekly.
Is that right?
Got to enjoy what you do.
Terrific. Yeah, you have to. You know, people love to. You got that. Hopalicious is year round, but seasonal beers, people love. You know, as the seasons change, the beers kind of change. What are some of the seasonal beers that you end up doing?
Well, we have a wide variety of seasonal beers that we produce. At any given time, we have 3 seasonals that are available on the market. Throughout the year, we have about 12 that come in and out of the market. We release 1 new seasonal every month. The most popular seasonals that we and the rest of the craft beer industry have are our India Pale Ales. It's the #1 category of beer. And currently we have one called Velveteen Habit, which has really taken off for us, but that goes away shortly, and it's going to get replaced by a beer called Haiku, which is 2 words, not 1. So you'll kind of have to figure out in the meantime what that exactly means. That'll be released on April 20th of this year.
Very cool. You mentioned, you know, so many, IPAs are popular now. When did everyone turn into such hopheads? How did that happen?
Well, just like every industry, craft beer trends come from the coasts. So the East Coast and West Coast of the United States, they've been hopheads for quite some time, 10, 15, even 20 years, depending on the location. So those trends have just come to the Midwest in the last, I'd say probably 10 years, where now it's now traveled into Wisconsin, getting into northern Wisconsin, where once you develop that taste for hops, it's so specific and unique that it's very difficult to go back if you enjoy it.
I love it, yeah.
But most people, they don't go from your macro beers, your Miller Coors and Buds, straight into an India Pale Ale. It takes some time to get used to that bitterness and that real hop punch that a lot of those IPAs have.
They got to warm up to it a little bit.
You really do. A lot of times you'll go into like a smoother, maltier beer and then graduate to something of an American Pale Ale or an India Pale Ale variety.
Okay. When it comes to your seasonals, what are the most popular ones? What's your top selling one?
Well, this top selling one is the one that we have out right now. It's called Velveteen Habit.
That is the top selling
It
one.
is. It's we released it last year for the first time. It's an India Pale Ale, about 7.5%. It uses Citra and Cascade hops, which are 2 of the more popular hop varieties out there. And as I mentioned, that'll be available for about another month, maybe a month and a half, and then that gets replaced. Probably right behind that is a seasonal that we have out in the summer months. I'm actually going to pause here. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
Trying to think of the second one.
Yeah, you got another one.
Yeah. Probably the next most popular one that we have was one that actually came its way into a year-round beer, which was Unshadowed, which was a Hefeweizen that you can now get year-round, which is nice because a lot of times Hefeweizens are only available in the summer months, but we have that one available year-round.
It also seems that you have kind of an influence from Belgian-style beers as well. Why do you like the Belgians so much? What is it about the Belgians?
Well, our brewmaster, Dean, has been an avid Belgian beer lover for his entire craft beer drinking life. Nobody really starts out young and is drinking craft beer.
Right.
And so he was just infatuated with some of the classics, your Chimé's of the world. And so from that, he just developed his taste, then he developed a taste for brewing them, and he's been doing it ever since his days way back when, if anybody can remember, the Angelic Brewing Company days when he was the brewmaster downtown Madison.
I do remember Angelic,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's right.
So anything else new and different on the horizon that we haven't heard of? You mentioned haiku. Is there anything else?
Yeah, we've got a number of seasonals that are coming out this year that have never been out there before. Haiku, of course, that I mentioned, but also a Belgian Pale Ale, which is not a hoppy beer, called Rictus Grin. That comes out in May, and then we have an Oktoberfest that we're doing for the first time called Octillion. That comes out in August. And then at the end of the year, we do another IPA that's never been out before called Subculture, which is a bit of a nod to one of my favorite bands of all time, the Pixies. If you haven't heard the song, I suggest checking it out on YouTube.
Very cool. I could talk about it for a half hour, but unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you, Anna, for joining us.
Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for watching Talk of the Town right here on CW57. We'll see you next time.